She defended a janitor and lost everything in 60 seconds. But when the boardroom doors opened the next morning, the janitor was sitting in the CEO's chair. What she didn't know about Marcus would change her life forever. This is a story about one moment of kindness that cost her everything, or did it? Naomi's hands shook as she pressed the button for the 42nd floor. Her reflection stared back at her in the elevator's shiny doors. The black blazer she bought on sale last week. The white shirt she ironed 3 times this morning. Her hair pulled back so tight her scalp hurt. This was it. Blake Tech Industries. The biggest tech company in New York. Maybe in the whole country. She got the internship. Out of 5,000 people, they picked her. A girl from Brooklyn who grew up sharing a bedroom with 2 sisters. A girl whose mom cleaned offices at night so she could go to college during the day. The elevator dinged. 42nd floor. Naomi stepped out and her heel caught on the gap. She fell forward. Hard. Her bag flew open. Papers everywhere. Her laptop slid across the shiny floor. Her coffee cup exploded, brown liquid spreading like a flood. No, no, no. She dropped to her knees, grabbing papers that were now soaked in coffee. Tears burned her eyes. First day. She was going to be late on her first day. Easy now. It's just coffee and paper. Naomi looked up. An older black man knelt beside her. He wore a gray uniform with Marcus stitched on the pocket. A janitor. He had kind eyes, the kind that crinkled at the corners when he smiled. His hair was gray at the temples. I ruined everything, Naomi whispered. She tried to wipe her eyes without smearing her makeup. You ruined nothing. Marcus pulled a cloth from his cart and started soaking up the coffee. I've worked here 12 years. You know how many people spill coffee on their first day? Last month, a guy spilled 2 cups and threw up in the waiting room. Naomi laughed even though she wanted to cry. Really? Really? Marcus helped her gather the papers. What's your name? Naomi. Naomi Chen. I'm an intern. Or I was supposed to be. Now I'll probably get sent home before I even start. Naomi Chen. Marcus handed her the papers, now slightly damp but readable. You're not going anywhere. Here's what you do. You walk into that office with your head up. You tell them you're here to work harder than anyone else. And you mean it. Naomi stood up. Marcus was already wiping the floor, making the coffee stain disappear like it never happened. Thank you, Marcus. Go on now. You're going to be great. The morning was a blur. Orientation videos. Mountains of paperwork. Meeting 15 other interns who all looked like they belonged here more than she did. They had expensive watches. Perfect teeth. Voices that never shook when they talked. At lunch, Naomi sat alone in the cafeteria. The other interns clustered together, laughing about things she didn't understand. Weekend trips to the Hamptons. Ski houses in Vermont. Mind if I sit? Marcus stood there with a lunch bag. Before Naomi could answer, he sat down across from her. How's day 1? He asked, unwrapping a sandwich. Scary. Everyone here is so smart. So polished. I feel like someone's going to figure out I don't belong and send me back to Brooklyn. Marcus took a bite of his sandwich. He chewed slowly. You know what I learned in 12 years? The people who worry they don't belong are usually the ones who belong the most. The people who never worry. Those are the ones you've got to watch. Over the next 3 weeks, Marcus became the best part of Naomi's days. Every morning at 7:15, she'd see him wiping down the windows on the 42nd floor. Every lunch, if she ate alone, he'd sit with her. He never talked down to her. Never made her feel small. He asked about her family, her dreams, her fears. My daughter's about your age, Marcus said one Thursday afternoon. They sat on a bench outside the building, eating dollar pizza. She's in medical school. Works so hard she forgets to eat sometimes. You must be so proud, Naomi said. I am. But I worry. She thinks she has to be perfect. She thinks one mistake means everything falls apart. Marcus looked at Naomi. I tell her what I'm telling you. Your mistakes don't define you. How you handle them does. That Friday, everything changed. Naomi was working late. Most people had gone home. She was preparing a presentation for Monday when she heard voices. Loud voices. Mean voices. She walked toward the sound. 3 people from the executive floor stood near Marcus's supply closet. 2 men in expensive suits. 1 woman in designer heels. "This trash is overflowing," one man said. "Isn't that your job? To take out trash?" Marcus stood there quietly. "I'll get to it right now, sir." "You'll get to it now? It should have been done hours ago. What do we even pay you for?" The woman laughed. Not a nice laugh. A cruel one. Naomi felt heat rise in her chest. She walked over. "Excuse me." The 3 executives turned. They looked at her like she was a bug on the wall. "The trash pickup is scheduled for every 2 hours, Naomi said. Her voice didn't shake. "It's in the building manual. Page 47. Marcus does his job better than most people here do theirs." The first man's face went red. "Who are you?" "Naomi Chen. Intern. And I think you should apologize to Marcus." The woman stepped closer. Her perfume smelled expensive. Her smile looked like a knife. "Listen, little intern. You just made a very big mistake. This is Richard Torres, VP of Operations. You just told a VP what to do." Richard Torres crossed his arms. "What's your supervisor's name?" Naomi's heart pounded. But she didn't look away. "Janet Morrison." "Well, Naomi Chen, intern, enjoy your weekend. Because Monday, we're having a conversation with Janet about respect and knowing your place." The 3 of them walked away, their laughter echoing down the hall. Marcus put his hand on Naomi's shoulder. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did." Naomi was shaking now. Not from fear. From anger. They were treating you like you're invisible. Like you're nothing. "You're not nothing, Marcus. You're the kindest person in this whole building." Marcus looked at her for a long moment. Something flickered in his eyes. Something she couldn't read. "Go home, Naomi. Get some rest." That weekend, Naomi couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Her mom told her to apologize on Monday. Her sisters said she should have kept quiet. But every time she closed her eyes, she saw Marcus standing there while those executives mocked him. Monday morning came too fast. If this story is touching your heart right now, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us bring more real-life inspired stories about kindness, integrity, and second chances. Don't miss what happens next. Naomi's about to discover the truth about Marcus, and trust me, you won't see this coming. Janet Morrison's office had glass walls. Naomi could see her supervisor's face before she even walked in. Tight lips. Arms crossed. "Not good. Sit down, Naomi." Naomi sat. Her legs felt like water. Janet slid a paper across the desk. "This is your termination notice. Effective immediately." The words hit like a punch. "What? But You disrespected a VP. You overstepped your authority. You involved yourself in matters that had nothing to do with your job." Janet wouldn't look at her. "Security will escort you out. You have 10 minutes to collect your things." Naomi's vision blurred. "I was defending someone. They were being cruel to Marcus, the janitor, and I just—" "The janitor?" Janet finally looked up. Her expression was strange. Almost sad. "Naomi, you have a lot to learn about how things work. Sometimes keeping your head down is smarter than being a hero." "I don't want to be a hero. I just wanted to be a decent human being." "Then be a decent human being somewhere else. This conversation is over." Naomi walked back to her tiny desk in a daze. The other interns stared. Some whispered. One girl, Madison, actually smiled. Like she was happy about this. A security guard appeared. Young guy, Latino, looked uncomfortable. "Ms. Chen, I need to escort you out." Naomi packed her things into a cardboard box. Her stapler. Her coffee mug with "Dream Big" printed on it. The framed photo of her family. 3 weeks of work, gone. 3 weeks of hope, crushed. She walked toward the elevator. People moved out of her way like she had a disease. Like getting fired was contagious. The elevator doors opened. Marcus stood inside, pushing his cleaning cart. Their eyes met. Naomi couldn't hold it in anymore. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I tried to help you, and I just made everything worse for myself." Marcus stepped out of the elevator. He looked at the security guard. "Give us a minute." The guard nodded and walked a few feet away. "You didn't make anything worse," Marcus said quietly. "You showed me exactly who you are. And Naomi, who you are is extraordinary. I'm unemployed. I'm a failure. I have to go home and tell my mom I lost the best opportunity I've ever had because I couldn't keep my mouth shut." "You lost nothing that matters." Marcus's voice was firm now, strong. "You kept something more important than a job. You kept your integrity. You kept your soul." The security guard cleared his throat. "Ms. Chen, we need to go." Naomi wiped her eyes. "Goodbye, Marcus. Thank you for being my friend." She rode the elevator down 42 floors. Each floor felt like a year. By the time she reached the lobby, she felt 100 years old. Outside, the November air bit at her face. New York rushed past her. Cars honking. People shouting. A million lives that didn't care about hers falling apart. Naomi's phone buzzed. A text from her mom, "How's work, baby?" She couldn't answer. Not yet. She walked to the subway. Down the stairs. Onto the platform. The train arrived and she got on, squeezing between tired people going home early. A woman with grocery bags. A man in scrubs. Real people. Working people. People like her. Her phone buzzed again. An email. All Blake Tech interns. Mandatory meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, 9 a.m. Conference room A. Attendance required for continuation in program. Naomi almost laughed. Continuation in program? She was fired. Why would they email her? She showed the email to the security guard who escorted her out. She had his card. She texted him, "Got email about intern meeting tomorrow." Mistake. 3 dots appeared. Then, "Not a mistake. You're supposed to be there." Can't say more. That night, Naomi didn't sleep. She replayed everything. Richard Torres's red face. Janet's sad eyes. Marcus's kind words. Nothing made sense. Tuesday morning, Naomi put on the same black blazer. The same white shirt. She ironed it 4 times. She walked into Blake Tech at 8:45. The security guard from yesterday saw her and nodded. Conference room A. Top floor. Top floor. That's the executive floor. Interns don't. Today you do. The elevator ride to the top floor took forever. When the doors opened, Naomi stepped into a different world. Real art on the walls. Thick carpet. Floor-to-ceiling windows showing all of Manhattan. A woman in a perfect suit smiled at her. "Naomi Chen?" "Yes." "Follow me, please." They walked down a long hallway. Through glass doors into the biggest conference room Naomi had ever seen. A table that could seat 30 people. Screens on every wall. All 15 interns sat there. Madison. Tyler. Cameron. All of them. They looked as confused as Naomi felt. At the head of the table sat Richard Torres, the VP who got her fired. His face was pale. Next to him sat Janet Morrison. She wouldn't look at anyone. Next to her sat a woman Naomi didn't recognize. Older, black, elegant. She wore a burgundy suit that probably cost more than Naomi's rent. And at the very end of the table, in a chair that looked like a throne, sat Marcus. Except he wasn't wearing his gray janitor uniform. He wore a black suit, a crisp white shirt, a tie that probably cost $1,000. His hair was cut differently. Professional. Sharp. He looked like a completely different person. But his eyes were the same. Kind. Crinkled at the corners. Naomi's brain couldn't process what she was seeing. Marcus stood up. Everyone in the room stood up with him, except the interns. They just sat there, frozen. "Good morning," Marcus said. His voice filled the room. "For those of you who don't know me, my name is Samuel Blake. I'm the CEO of Blake Tech Industries. I founded this company 23 years ago in my garage in Brooklyn." The room spun. Naomi gripped the edge of the table. Samuel Blake, the CEO. The man on the cover of Forbes last month. The billionaire who started with nothing and built an empire. That was Marcus. Marcus was Samuel Blake. "Every year," Samuel continued, "I do something my board hates. I go undercover in my own company. I dress as a janitor. I watch how people treat someone they think has no power, no status, no value." He walked slowly around the table. His eyes moved over each in turn. "I watch who says thank you, who holds doors, who sees the janitor as a human being, and who treats him like furniture, like trash to be stepped over." He stopped behind Richard Torres. "I also watch my executives. I watch who they are when they think no one important is looking." Richard Torres's hands shook. "In 3 weeks, most of you walked past me every single day. You didn't see me. You saw a uniform, a role, not a person." Samuel's voice wasn't angry, just sad. One person was different. He walked toward Naomi. She couldn't breathe. "Naomi Chen sat with me at lunch, asked about my life, my family, my dreams." She treated a janitor with the same respect she'd give a CEO. And when she saw injustice, she spoke up, even when it cost her everything. Samuel stopped beside her chair. "Stand up, please." Naomi stood. Her legs barely worked. "Yesterday, you were fired for defending me, for showing integrity, for proving that your character matters more than your career." Samuel turned to face the room. "Today, I'm not just rehiring you. I'm promoting you. You're no longer an intern. You're my new junior executive assistant. You'll work directly with me. You'll learn this business from the inside. And you'll help me find more people like you. People who see humans, not titles." The room was silent. Naomi heard her own heartbeat. "The rest of you," Samuel said, looking at the other interns, "you're still in the program. You have a chance to learn what Naomi already knows. That how you treat people when you think it doesn't matter is when it matters most." He turned to Richard Torres. "Richard, you're demoted. You'll spend the next 6 months in employee relations training. You'll learn what respect means. Or you'll find another company." Richard Torres nodded, his face gray. Samuel looked at Janet Morrison. "Janet, you followed orders instead of standing up for what's right. That disappoints me. You're suspended for 2 weeks without pay. Use that time to remember why you wanted to work here in the first place." Then Samuel turned back to Naomi. He held out his hand. "What do you say, Naomi? Want to help me build something that matters?" Naomi's eyes filled with tears. But this time they were different tears. "Yes. Yes, Mr. Blake. I do. Call me Samuel. And Naomi, thank you for seeing me. The real me. Not the title. Not the money. Just me." He shook her hand. His grip was firm, warm. The same grip that had helped her pick up coffee-soaked papers 3 weeks ago. Later that day, Naomi called her mom. "You're not going to believe what happened." Her mom laughed. "Baby, I always knew you were special. I just needed you to believe it too." That night, Naomi stood in her new office. It had windows overlooking Central Park, a desk bigger than her bedroom. But the best part was the photo she placed on that desk. Her family, her mom, her sisters, the people who taught her that kindness wasn't weakness, that integrity wasn't negotiable, that how you treat people matters more than what you achieve. Samuel Blake stopped by as she was leaving. "First day in the new job. How does it feel?" "Surreal. Terrifying. Amazing." Naomi smiled. "Thank you for teaching me that doing the right thing doesn't always cost you everything. Sometimes it costs you nothing. and gains you the world. Samuel nodded. You taught me something too. That there are still people who care more about character than climbing. We're going to do great things together, Naomi. We're going to change how business works. One act of kindness at a time. As Naomi rode the subway home that night, she thought about how 3 weeks ago she fell in an elevator and spilled coffee everywhere. She thought she'd ruined everything. Instead, she'd found everything. Not a job. Not success. Something better. She'd found proof that her mom was right all along. That being kind, being real, being yourself was never wrong. Even when the world told you it was. Especially then. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that kindness always wins, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Share this with someone who needs to remember that doing the right thing is never wrong. Drop a comment below. Have you ever stood up for someone when everyone else walked away? Your story matters. Thank you for watching, and remember, character over career, always.